Hey guys, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and in this video I'll be going over the Transformers Generation Deluxe class Chromia. In the original Generation 1 TV show, she was the second in command of Elita 1's Fembot group, and whenever she wasn't around, she usually took over the reins. And I'm pretty pumped to be picking up this figure because they don't usually release too many female Transformer characters, so whenever they decide to release any, I try to scoop them up. And hopefully if these figures get really popular with collectors, they'll decide to release an Elita 1, so without further ado, for the packaging. Really love the comic book front of this, where you get a nice image of Chromia in the background. And then on the bottom here, you get a nice picture of her alt mode down here, which is a motorcycle. For the back of the packaging, you get a nice image of the figure here in robot form and alt mode. And one thing to point out with is on the back of the box, it shows that she has two guns. But it says up here, the additional weapon is not included, which you can see on the front of the packaging, it just has the one gun. So that's already a bit of a bummer, because it even shows up here her having two guns, so why couldn't they give me the second one? But what you gonna do? And then, if you guys want to read the bio real quick, I'll let you. Alright, we good? And down here is her technical stats. So, let's get her open up out of her plastic prison. So now that we got Chromia open up out of her prison, first we're gonna go over a little blaster, which is made out of this black plastic and has a little bit of molded details in there. You can see down here there's the clip, some details here on the handle here, even has a little sight on the gun. But what would have been really nice is if we would have got a second blaster, just so she could have been dual wielding them. Because they show it on the package and also on the comic book cover, so it just would have been really badass to just have her on the shelf just dual wielding these things. But sadly, they only gave us the one. And then to get into Chromia, first we're going to go over her details, which overall looks really awesome. But one thing I want to point out is, to me, she reminds me a lot of the Transformers Prime RC. Especially with her colorings, where it's this baby blue with some teals and a little bit of red mixed in here. And overall, just the shape of her body just really reminds me of that figure. Actually, you know what? Hold on a sec. So after going to grab RC, you'll notice that there's a lot of similarities between these two. Which, for starters, their body types are literally the exact same thing. You can see here for the chest area, it's literally the same mold. Same down here for the lower regions. Nothing really different going on here. So looking at the side, you'll notice that the back area is a little bit different. It's just pretty much they reused the front plate here. And then also the transformation for how the wheels just go on the back, pretty much the same between the two. Even the way the arm joints are attached, literally the same here as well. Just a different mold here for the arms. Leg design here is pretty similar as well with the spikes here. And it is a different mold, but it's just very, very comparable. And that's pretty much the only noticeable similarities between them. So pretty much Chromia is kind of a rehash of the RC. There's a lot of different parts on here, but it's overall the same kind of design. But that being said, this is still an awesome looking toy. Like, for the head sculpt, turned out very nice. Really like how the face design looks. Very clean looking. Like the little crest here with the white paint. It also has a little bit of light piping, but it's not coming across very well for me. Overall, the body mold looks very nice as well, because RC was a great looking figure, and so is she. Very feminine. Really like the arm design here, very robotic, and also just love the hand articulation here, which we'll go back over in a second, but it's just you don't see a whole lot of that as of recently, so that's really sweet. And then down here for the legs, very nice design here as well, with these ginormous wheels back here, which is going to connect when you transform her to make the one wheel for the back. But it is pretty cool looking. It just gives her a very big mass here at the lower part of her leg. And she's got her little kind of high heels here with the wheels kind of making the back portion of it. So that's kind of a nice use of that. And the only real bummer about this entire figure is that for the backpack, it's very open here, which usually for backpacks, it doesn't really bother me all that much, but there's just a lot of gapping here. There's not really a way of fixing it. Maybe just bringing that up a little bit and then folding it down, but still then it's not quite a good look from the front. So that's kind of poopy there. And then the other part is that for right here, you could kind of get it a little bit cleaner by bringing the flap down, but then that really hinders the articulation here too. So if you're going to want to be posing her, you need to have the flap flipped up a little bit back here so that she can actually move around a bit. So that's pretty much the biggest ugly part about this entire figure. Because looking at it from the front, it's still very nice and very eye-catching toy. It's just once you start getting into the side profile, it's kind of And then for articulation, her head's on a ball joint, so it can look left, right, up and down. Very nice. For her shoulders, they can move up and down. It's a little bit of movement with that for part of the transformation, but it's not really necessary. And then her elbows are on a ball joint, so you can move them left to right, up and down. Hands also on a ball joint, but you can only really rotate it and bring it forward a little bit. Nothing at the waist, but for her legs, they can move out about that far. But again, you gotta kind of move the little back flap here a bit just to get the articulation out a little bit more. Also has a popping out joint. There we go. For her articulation up here, she has also rotation up here. Has a nice bend at the knee. And nothing really at the feet here. So overall, robot form, I think she turned out very nice. Even though she's pretty much a replica of RC for the most part, it's still a very nice looking toy. It's just the backpack's a little bit of a bummer. Let's get her in the vehicle form to see how that turned out. And here's Chromia with some of my Generations fembots with RC and Windblade. And here she is with Generations Whirl and Shrapnel. So here's Chromia in vehicle form, which for her weapon storage, the only thing that I've noticed is right here you'll see there's some peg holes here on the legs here. Or what I should say the side of the motorcycle. You'll notice this is her legs. But you can stick it in there, and it does kind of hold it in, but it's not very secure. So not great options, but it's pretty much what you got for this. But overall, the vehicle form does look very cool, and you may be noticing that it is very similar to RC again, because if you literally have transformed the Transformers Prime RC, it's the exact same thing for this vehicle, except for there's this little added hatch here. But overall, I think it's a pretty cool design for a motorcycle. Very Akira looking, where it has this nice streamlined look to it and has this little cockpit here. Just kind of a neat idea. Overall, I like the colorings on here, because a lot more of the reds kind of convey on here than it does on the robot form. And same with the baby blues and the teals. Got the Autobot logo on the top here, which is pretty cool. Really, actually, I'm surprisingly liking these wheels a lot. They remind me a lot of Tron, and that's pretty neat. Again, very futuristic-y and even kind of reminiscent of a light cycle. Kinda. The only real thing that's nitpicky for me is that it would have maybe been nice to have hidden the legs a little bit more. Because you notice the arms are right here and they just kind of tuck in underneath, which isn't so bad, but just the legs kind of hanging underneath, which isn't horrible. And they did a little bit better of a job on RC, if I can find her. Grabbing RC, they just had a bigger panel here to cover up the legs. So it just helped hide it a little bit better. But it's still not that bad on this vehicle. And then a couple of little things to point out is back here you'll notice that there's like a little thruster here with some vents on the side. And also it has a kickstand here, so you can actually display the vehicle on your shelf very nicely. And I could actually totally see myself keeping it on my shelf like this, because it does look really nice overall. I'm gonna probably have it in a robot form, just like I have my little Charlie's Angel set up overall with all the other fembots. But this is still a nice alternative. And here for some quick comparison, here she is with RC and Windblade. And here she is with Shrapnel and Whirl. So overall, Chromia, I think she turned out pretty good. Overall, the robot form looks very nice, even though it's very similar to RC. And also the backpack can be a little bit distracting. But the vehicle form actually turned out really nice, and it is a very eye-catching piece, and I love the futuristic look of it. So if you guys are looking for a fembot to add to your collection, then Chromia might not be a bad one. So what do you guys think? You guys like Chromia? Would you be excited for an Elita 1 action figure, or do your figures need testosterone? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have closer pictures on Facebook if you want to click the link description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around. If you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.